Hey everybody, I'm here with Gia again, who's being a very good girl. Yeah, it's amazing how much I use a Dalmatian when I have to re-upload an old video. I'm so sorry for not having a new review for you guys this week. In addition to it being a very busy week, I also had some car trouble that I had to deal with, which took up most of my time for this week, as well as dogs like this. But anyway. So I'm doing a re-upload from my old channel back when I was even more awkward than I am today. Still awkward today, just a little more comfortable with my awkwardness. But anyway, so hopefully I'll have a new review for you guys next week. It's just this week I had to deal with my car, but don't worry, we are up and running again, so I should be back next week. But until then, enjoy this old review from my old channel and tell Gia that she's a good girl. Whoop, she's so close. Enjoy the video.
America has Carrie, Australia has Patrick. Let the psychic horror begin.
Watch it, Alan. I'm shooting.
Patrick.
Oh, that's another thing. Dr. Roger calls it a motor nerve reflex, but no one really knows why he does it. He seemed to do it on purpose.
Patrick is a 1970s horror movie from Australia. Australian exploitation had been dubbed Ozploitation by Quentin Tarantino, and the name just stuck. What made these movies so great was the same reason that Italian exploitation movies were so great, because they didn't hold back. Their action movies had insane stunts, their horror movies had plenty of blood and nudity. However, Patrick is one of the more subdued horror movies from Australia, focusing more on tension and atmosphere. Patrick follows Susan Penhaligon of Land That Time Forgot fame, playing Kathy, a new nurse at a small, private-owned hospital.
We had a classican here last week, seated where you are now, applying for work as an orderly, and his little quirk, as it turned out, was to sneak down to the laundry of a night and paint himself with excreta. Does that shock you, Mrs. Jacquard?
No.
There she is put in charge of Patrick, a patient who's been in a coma for 3 years. The head nurse and Patrick's doctor, played by Sir Robert Helpmann, who also played the child catcher in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, have pretty much given up on Patrick, but Kathy thinks otherwise. Due to some strange events, it becomes clear that Patrick, although in a coma, is very capable at doing some damage. Because Patrick has the ability of psychokinesis, so yes, he is the Carrie of Australia. Patrick, the movie, is not very action-packed, but it's never boring. The best thing about Patrick is, well, Patrick. Robert Thompson plays Patrick, and it's very interesting because he doesn't move through 99% of the movie. I know it's hard to believe that a guy who barely moves can steal the whole show, but let's face it, Patrick is the best coma actor out there. In every one of his scenes, his eyes are wide open and still. This wasn't a practical effect or CGI. He is physically not blinking and keeping his eyes still the entire time. Do you have any idea how hard it is to not only not blink, but keep your eyes completely still? They flash lights in his eyes too, so yeah, this coma performance is the best coma performance. I know that people in a coma don't normally keep their eyes wide open, but it just gives Patrick more of an eerie presence. Don't expect a high body count. That's not the kind of movie it is. It's all about the tension slowly building throughout the film. There's a very uneasy feeling throughout the movie, even with the scenes without Patrick. The movie does a good job at making you feel his presence in every scene. I also like the more subtle scares in the movie. movie. It's like in Halloween where you would just see Michael Myers standing in the background in certain scenes. The movie wouldn't really bring any attention to him, and then when you finally do notice him, you're like, holy shit, he's right there watching. Patrick does the same thing with moving objects. You don't really notice it at first, and then you say, holy shit, that thing's moving.
I'm fairly certain it was my husband, Ed. It's just his little way of making a point.
It can add to the suspense when horror's just happening in the background. Patrick is a forgotten horror movie from the 70s, and it deserves a bigger following today. I don't hear too many people talking about it, so please check this movie out if you like a good, creepy, subtle horror movie. Now let me ask you, who's your favorite psychic in a movie, or your favorite psychic in a TV show, or your favorite psychic in a book? Basically, your favorite psychic in fiction. This is your buddy Justin, here to remind you that the Grindhouse will never die. Oh, I know what you wanted. You wanted an Australian accent in this review, didn't you? Crikey, g'day, kangaroo, koala bear, platypus, Foster's, Australian for bear. You happy now?